All right, 2 Kings 21, let's call this one Purpose Wrecked, because as we mentioned, we're going to talk about Manasseh, not the tribe, but the son of Hezekiah, who is essentially going to wreck Israel's future as God's example of what it can look like to have a nation that has both success and peace. And so what we are going to see now is a situation where Manasseh, even though I heard a man preach well this past weekend about the way, even though he made kind of a train wreck of Israel as a nation, found a way to recover personally. The tragedy is he is going to recover personally, even though the nation is going to be left on a course of what is sometimes called irreparable damage. Not because there will be no more great kings of Israel. We will have one more noteworthy king, his grandson, Josiah. But Josiah is going to be left with a situation where the only thing he can do is essentially provide a parachute for his generation, meaning the vehicle is on a crash course and God is going to give them an opportunity to live at peace for one more generation before he sends them into the same thing Israel experienced, captivity, just in a different location, Babylon. But in getting there, we're going to see a structure that we haven't really discussed in the past few chapters, but it's kind of common to some of the chapters this week, and that is God laying out the problem insofar as he has an unrighteous king over either Israel or Judah. In this set of chapters, he's going to lay out that charge. This person either did well as David did or did evil in the line of either Jeroboam in the north or now Manasseh is going to be the new benchmark for the shipwreck that Judah is about to become. And so he is going to, after laying out the fact that Manasseh did evil, he is then going to lay out all of the specific ways that Manasseh led Judah back to a time that wasn't seen even during the days of the Canaanites, the collection of people that God evicted so that Israel could have the opportunity to show the world what it was like to have success hand in hand with peace. But Manasseh has effectively set Judah on a course to make them worse than the nations that they dispossessed. So as we said, the Chronicles often give us more insight. And so the upside of Manasseh's story is that he is able to turn it around and he is able to put some cosmetic changes on the damage that he helped do to Judah. But it's not going to be enough because he is going to set an example that his son Ammon, the next king of Judah, is going to follow. And even though he is not going to necessarily be as bad as Manasseh, he's going to follow in Manasseh's footsteps. He, however, is going to have a son by the name of Josiah, as we mentioned, who is going to try to turn it around. And as we said, the best he is going to be able to do is provide a little bit of mercy and peace for his generation. Because once he passes the baton on to the next generation, it is going to be a steady decline into Babylonian captivity. Introducing us to the final few chapters in 2 Kings, where we get to see the end of the era where God uses an entire nation as ground zero for restoration. Understanding that even at Israel's highest points, kings like David provided a certain sense of peace to the nation, but you still couldn't trust him around Bathsheba. And Solomon, no matter how high he was able to help exalt Israel over all the nations of the earth, he was doing it in a way that was producing the kind of overtime that was having the people beg for mercy and a couple of days off, so on and so forth. Even the best kings that God was able to produce, as we saw in recent history, Hezekiah, after all the pressure he seemed to feel during the Syrian invasion, showed off his success in a way that simply invited another invasion. And so there was always a catch to Israel's success, even at its height. And so God is now moving into an era where instead of using Israel as ground zero for restoring peace to humanity, he is going to do that through an individual. And so as I sometimes use the example of having medicines that come with a whole list of unhealthy side effects, we see that even Israel's best kings could have an upside that came along with unhealthy side effects. We are now going to see him introduce a king whose success comes along with the side effect of making sure that everybody can eat in peace. By demonstrating the ways that we can not only succeed in peace, but the ways in which our success can create an environment where everyone else can succeed in peace too.